Hey YouTube, Untamed here. There are a lot of do's and don'ts when you're negotiating a vehicle from a dealership. In today's video, I'm going to highlight 10 phrases you want to avoid saying when you're speaking to that sales rep or when you're at the dealership. If you were to say one of these 10 things, you're guaranteeing yourself to get a worse off deal. So stick with me as we talk through it all. I'll save the most important for last. So why should you trust some kid walking around a dealership with a hoodie on? Well, for starters, I do hold a PhD in industrial and organizational psychology. I love understanding why organizations, dealerships included, why they make the decisions that they do and how it impacts them and you and I, the consumer. I love digging into it. Secondly, I did own and operate a successful nationwide auto brokerage service where I negotiated hundreds of deals for clients, various clients, and negotiated a number of deals for myself and shared them on the channel here. So I love negotiating deals. I love understanding the art behind it and really helping you ensure that you get the best deal possible. It should come as no surprise that a sales rep's job is to try to maximize the profit margin on that vehicle sale. Their job isn't to give you the best deal. Obviously, sometimes it may feel like they're trying to do that, but always have in the back of your mind, they're trying to make the most deal possible for them because it increases their commission and of course for the dealership alike. Number one phrase you should avoid is, "This is my dream car. I've always wanted to buy this car." By saying that, what are you telling that sales rep? You're telling that sales rep that, well, no matter what, you're probably going to buy it, right? I always try my best to kind of conceal my excitement. If I'm ever in there and I'm still trying to negotiate a little bit on the deal, I'll always do my best to just kind of make it appear as though, hey, well, I like the car, but I know that there's others out there. There's a few other deals maybe lingering that I've been working with other dealerships. I kind of leave that sales rep hanging. Make it known that there are other options out there for me to consider. And that sales rep, well, if they are aware of that, they know that they're gonna work a little bit harder to try to earn your business. But if you say, "This is my dream car," and you're showing your love all over your face, well, you're making it very easy on them. The second phrase you wanna avoid is, "Man, I really just need a car. Mine blew up," or "I'm currently without a car." Letting that sales rep know or that dealership know that you're without a vehicle, again, that gives them the upper hand. They know if you don't land a deal with them today, you're going to be taking a taxi home or your friend is going to come pick you up. So always make it known that you have options available to you. You don't absolutely need to make this deal, because I guarantee it, even if you walk away from a deal as you're in the middle of it, if you're at a dealership, walking away will always lead to a better sale price. I assure you, every time I've done that, it's always within a matter of minutes that sales rep is blowing up my phone trying to get me to come back to that dealership. And well, with that said, I always try my best to negotiate the best deal possible before I even set foot inside of that dealership, because by doing so, well, it's just gonna be a tremendous waste of your time, a lot of back and forth, a lot of the sales rep go and say, well, let me go ask my manager, and a lot of back and forth, and it becomes exhausting. So have a really good idea of what they're willing to offer on the vehicle you want before you even set foot in there, and then try to negotiate a little bit further when you're there. Moving to number three, this is perhaps one of the most common. It is when you go in there and say, hey, I'm paying cash. How much would you take for this vehicle? I'm paying cash. A lot of people say it as if it's a good thing. Dealerships don't really want to hear that. It's a good thing for you and I, of course, to not go into debt for a vehicle. You're not trying to take a loan out, that's good. But to a dealership nowadays, that's actually bad news, because when they finance a vehicle and secure an auto loan for you through one of their preferred lenders, what do? They get a preferred kickback from that lender. So not only are they selling you the vehicle for the price that you arranged, they're also getting additional money from the preferred lender from the banking institution. So never go in there and say, hey, I'm paying cash. And if you are going to pay cash, leave that point until the very end. Leave it until you've already negotiated the deal, right? So you can negotiate to get the best price tag and then let them know, hey, I'm just gonna cut you a cashier's check and buy it outright. Sales reps will ask you right from the start, hey, are you planning to finance? Or are you planning to pay cash? Never answer it right from the get-go. Say, hey, I'm still undecided right now. I'm just more so focused on getting a good deal. Now, on that same token, the whole cash versus finance bit, even if you're planning to finance all along, don't let that sales rep know that until the very end. Negotiate that figure down to where you want it to be, and then use it as your final bargaining chip. Now that you know that they receive a kickback of anywhere between $300 to $1,500 just for securing your loan, use it as your final bargaining chip. So pretend you negotiated down to $35,000 for your new vehicle, right? 35 grand. Say, hey, I'm willing to finance with you guys if you're willing to make 34 grand happen, and I'll make it happen today. I'll sign on the dotted line if you drop it to 34,000. So you're asking them to make another small discount beyond what you already negotiated, another $1,000, and it means making a deal. And in my experience, they will. They won't lose out on a deal, especially if you're going to finance. They're gonna get that kickback, and you're gonna make it happen that day. Moving to number four, never go into a dealership and say, hey, what's the best that you can give me for my trade here? you should come to the dealership well prepared and well armed with an expected figure, right? Maybe go to CarMax beforehand, see how much they offer you for your vehicle. Maybe go to a couple other dealerships that share the same make, manufacturer of the vehicle that you're trying to trade in, and see what they're willing to give you for trade-in. That way, you have a really, really good baseline before you go into the dealership to try to get the vehicle you're trying to get, right? So always go into the dealership well prepared to expect a certain figure for your trade-in. Don't fly blind. Don't go in there and just say, hey, well, what will we trade? Because now you're allowing them to guide the conversation. That does you no good, I assure you. This brings me to today's video sponsor, and that is Lasfit floor liners. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that I don't normally, quote unquote, pimp out my channel and do a lot of these paid sponsorships, but I do it when I believe in the product. And I've highlighted this once before, only once before, in my Ford Raptor here. The Ford Raptor also has some Lasfit floor liners in it because they are exceptional. In the Suburban, it is more important for my family because this is the family hauler, as you'd imagine, right? We have 5 little ones, all under the age of 9. And well, as you'd imagine, the interior of this vehicle becomes a disaster extremely quick. So I want to show you just how exceptional they are. I'm always very pleased with this product. And well, I went the full 9 yards in the Suburban here. We got full coverage from the very front to the far back. If you're like me and you have a large family, you will certainly appreciate the added coverage of the Lasfit floor liners. Before I put these in here, I did have, thankfully, some all-weather mats in here before, right? They were the OEM ones, but even compared to the OEM all-weather floor mats, these provide much better coverage. So I'll even have better peace of mind with these moving forward, because let's face it, no matter how hard you try, the kids will make a huge mess of your vehicle. I'll show you here a quick glimpse of what it looked like as I was cleaning them out before putting these in. It is quite the disaster, but that's inevitable. It's a price you pay when you have kiddos. As the name would entail, they are laser fitted to fit your vehicle perfectly. Go onto Lasfit's website, check out their year, make, model of your vehicle, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised that they'll have an offering for you. So check it out. I'll leave their my affiliate link to Lasfit in my video description below. Please feel free to check them out. They always have very quick shipping, and their price tags compared to the competition are much better. Now we can take the pups on adventures with a little bit more peace of mind that they're not going to completely destroy the cargo space of the Suburban here. So obviously the cargo mat right here, but it also extends upward into the backs of the 3rd row there, which I thought was pretty neat. I really appreciate just how easy it is to clean. Just spray on some water and wipe away the debris. Very, very simple. It's made out of a TPE material, which is not as soft as rubber, but is not as hard and rigid as a polyurethane material. This is very durable and certainly able to withstand the abuse that you're going to throw at it throughout your ownership. Not to mention, it's not going to harden or yellow over time. And on the point of cleaning, most all-weather floor mats have a very tight and skinny gap between each of the grooves, which makes it extremely difficult to clean and wipe away the dirt and debris, right? These here, they're very far apart. You can see I put my fingers in between them. That is nice. Not only does it offer exceptional grip, you can clean away anything quite easily. Moving to number 5, never say, I don't plan on going anywhere else. Always let the dealership know that you're willing to pick up and leave and go to the dealership up the road. Let them know that perhaps you've already called a few other dealerships and you're waiting to hear back. Let them know that you're being competitive with your trade-in, and let them know, of course, that you're trying to get the best deal possible and, well, you're shopping around. I know it sounds like a no-brainer, but some people will say that. They'll say, hey, I'm not going anywhere else. I want to keep my business local, which is admirable, of course, but you're kind of setting yourself up for failure when it comes to ensuring the best deal possible. Never say, I don't plan on going anywhere else. Moving on here, never go into a dealership and ask, hey, what kind of interest rates are you guys offering? You shouldn't do that for a number of reasons. Number one, if they have incentivized interest rates being offered by the vehicle manufacturer, you likely are fully aware of it. Do some homework and research in advance to realize, hey, Ford is offering an incentivized interest rate right now in their F-150s or their Ford Broncos of 1.9% over 60 months, right? Or 2.9% over 72 months, whatever it is, do that homework in advance, because generally speaking, they're wildly advertised all over their websites and really across the board. So be fully informed of what the incentivized rates are, and don't just ask them, hey, what kind of interest rates are you running? Because that is going to be entirely dependent, of course, on your credit score, your credit history when you submit your credit application. So don't be reliant on them answering that question honestly, because they likely won't. They're going to say, well, let's get a credit application and find out for you. So because of this, and to combat that, I always encourage people to walk into a dealership well prepared, well equipped with their own pre-qual from their local credit union. Go to your local credit union, get pre-qualified for an auto loan, And then that way, that is your baseline when you walk into that dealership, okay? It kind of gives you another bargaining chip. Say, hey, I'm already pre-qualified at my local credit union at 3.5% over 60 months. Unless you're willing to beat that, I'm not willing to finance through the dealership. So you give them a really good starting point. Not to mention, not everybody knows this, but when a finance rep farms out your credit application and gets back a approval from a banking institution, one of their preferred lenders, they can still upcharge that interest rate for you. So pretend a bank approves you at 4%, they can still try to sell you that loan at maybe 5% or 5.5%. They're upcharging it, again, helping pad their profit margin. Moving on to number 7 on my list here, never walk into a dealership and say, hey, what is the best deal you can give me on this vehicle? Asking them what the best deal that they can give you is giving them free rein to really not negotiate too much, not drop the price tag much. They're not going to. We've all lived through it. They'll maybe drop it a few $100s and make you feel like you're doing good. But no, you should be well equipped and well prepared. Do your own homework, do your own research, and know what a good price tag is for the vehicle. If you just do nationwide searches, the World Wide Web is a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you just spend a couple of hours researching and seeing what discounts are being applied to the vehicle that you're trying to buy in advance, you can go in there well prepared to negotiate below that figure, hopefully, right? Like for a Toyota Tacoma, it's not uncommon for these to be $6,000 or $8,000 off and get an incentivized interest rate on them. That's been the case for several months now. But if you walk into a dealership, look at the MSRP, and they say, hey, we can maybe take a couple grand off for you if it means making a deal, you might get excited if you hadn't done that homework in advance. I mean, especially historically speaking, Toyotas aren't generally wildly discounted. But right now, the Tundras and Tacomas in particular, they definitely are. But if you didn't know any better, you'd probably end up driving away with one. And on that note, I want to plug one more thing here. When you're trying to get the best deal, you just want to be able to get that in writing from a dealership. And if they're not willing to go down $6,000 or $8,000 off their Tacoma, call around, see what they're willing to do, get it in writing. Maybe it was only $4,500 off that they're willing to do. Get it in writing. And then that way, when you go to the next Toyota dealership, you can show them, hey, just up the road, they gave $4,500 off. I'm trying to get between that $6,000 and $8,000 off if it means making a deal happen today, right? Obviously, shoot for the higher end, trying to get $8,000 or $9,000 off and see where they can meet you. But always get it in writing, no matter how you landed at a dealership. That way you're equipped with something in writing to leverage at the next dealership. And each time you go to a different dealership, I assure you, they're gonna try to beat it a little bit by little bit. Even if it's by $500, that next dealership, they might drop it $5,000. The following dealership, $5,500. And before you know it, after a few dealerships, you're up to about that $7,000, $8,000 off mark. And I'm gonna show you this because they're not always at the dealership. This is the all-new Toyota Tacoma Trail Hunter. It does sport a hybridized iForce Max 4-banger underneath the hood. Get a load of these price tags today. But even this one here, you can easily get for invoice now. Invoice is generally about $7,000, $8,000 off of this price tag, bringing it into the high 50s. So even these, you can expect deals on. I've seen a number of them. I've shared them a number of times on the channel. But even this, right? This is a top dog Trail Hunter, neck and neck with the TRD Pro. Normally, historically speaking, you'd be hard pressed to find one at MSRP, let alone a discount. So again, do your homework, do your research in advance, go prepared to the dealership. Into number 8, never walk into a dealership and say, hey, what is the minimum amount that I can put down to secure this vehicle? That tells them that you might have challenge credit, right? If you're struggling to come up with the minimum wherewithal to buy a vehicle, maybe you shouldn't be buying that vehicle in the first place. That's kind of what you're telling them inadvertently. That may or may not be the truth, but that's kind of the silver lining that they're looking at right there, okay? So don't tell them that for that reason. Not to mention, it's not showing a whole lot of confidence in your ability to buy the vehicle. Go in there with full confidence, say, hey, I have $5,000 I'm gonna put down on this vehicle. And $5,000, generally speaking, is a good starting point for most new vehicles. The average new vehicle purchase price here in 2025 is just over $49,000. So that $5,000 down is about 10%. Most people do 10 to 20%. Piggyback on that last point, by you asking what the minimum is that you can put down in order to secure the vehicle, you're setting yourself up for failure. What I mean by that is that sales rep is likely going to be pushing for you to submit a credit application. Let's find out where you're at. He'll say, let's find out where we're at and we'll go from there. By the time that they submitted your application, you've already A, taken a ding to your credit, and then B, they've already kind of gotten you, right? That you've sat in that seat for a couple of hours at that point, probably at least an hour. They've farmed out your credit application. And then the success of that story becomes, hey, we've been able to get you approved. We got you approved. And then that's a success. And that should not be the quote unquote success. You want to negotiate the price tag of the vehicle that you want to pay before they submit your credit application. Be comfortable and confident in the price tag before, they ding your credit. Moving to number 9 here, a lot of people will still go into a dealership and say, hey, can I order a vehicle the way I want it, the way I like it at MSRP? Can I buy one at MSRP and order it the way I want? Never say that. Of course you can, especially right now. The whole buying at MSRP was a little bit more prevalent and maybe a little bit more important during the pandemic when supply was low. Due to the chip shortages, supply was low and demand was still very high, of course, at that time. Nowadays, never pay MSRP on the vast majority of vehicles. I would say maybe 98 out of 100 vehicles you don't want to pay MSRP for. You always should expect a lesser price tag, right? Get a discount off of that. So even if it means trying to find the exact trim, the exact truck that you're looking for, or car, SUV, whatever it is, you can do that. You can absolutely do that. Even if you were to order it through a dealership, there are still ways to get incentivized interest rates and pretty substantial discounts off the purchase price of that vehicle, even if you order it and have it built for you. There's ways to do it. So never say, hey, can I order at MSRP? Not anymore. Moving to number 10, this is the most important one to remember. If you forget everything else in this video, that's okay. But this one here, never, ever go into a dealership and say, hey, I'm trying to keep my payment under this. By doing so, you are setting yourself up for failure tremendously. And what I mean by that is that sales rep can finagle the numbers, extend the duration of your loan, and still keep your monthly payment underneath your threshold. But so many people get wrapped around the axle about keeping their payment low, right? I get it. I understand the concept behind it. You have other bills and you're trying to fit it into your finances. I get it. But if you negotiate the sale price of the vehicle down much lower than normal and get it to where you want it to be, I assure you, the monthly payment will work itself out too. You know, they go hand in hand together, right? But if you say, I want my monthly payment to be under $600 a month, that gives that sales rep, that finance rep too, a ton of latitude to still insert their protection package, their extended warranties, their bogus ceramic coating, blah, 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 nitrogen-filled tires, whatever it is. They can inflate the sale price of the vehicle tremendously, and they will, I assure you, they will, and still keep your payment underneath where you want it. So don't give them that luxury. Never ever say, hey, I'm trying to keep my payment under this. Go in there and negotiate the sale price of the vehicle, the out-the-door price with all the fees, all the additional things included. What is that final figure that you want to pay? So there you have it, guys. Those are the 10 phrases you want to avoid saying when you're negotiating your next vehicle. Let me know what I missed, though. I'm sure there's more to it. What are other phrases or things that you've said that ended up getting you into a sticky situation? All right, guys, I'll wrap up the video there. As always, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to tune into these videos. If you found any kind of value in this whatsoever, I do respectfully request that you please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a ton, and I promise you it doesn't go unnoticed. Until next time.